welcome to, I don't know, nothing. It's cold outside. Well, I say cold, like 34 degrees is considered cold in Portland. So, I've been having issues with the TBI recently, and that basically just results in me not really doing anything and not feeling like a productive member of society, whatever that means. So I've just been kind of doing random stuff around the house that needs to get done. Look, some light bulbs. So you may notice over here behind the TV we have the flag light, and I replaced that light bulb in a video, I think it was 4 months ago. Well, the bulb already burned out. So I was thinking, I guess I could get an LED bulb, that way it won't burn out. So I ordered these little things on Amazon, and they showed up. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cute little thing. But then I realized these are LEDs and there's not much room for circuitry in there, and they probably don't have very good smoothing. Turns out they flicker, and I'm really picky with flickering lighting. And also it's cold white. See, it's that horrible, harsh light over there. So I got to thinking, if those bulbs are only gonna last 4 or 5 months, I could just buy a bunch of them. So for $7, I ordered this box of 8 of these microwave appliance lights. Now these, aside from being covered in filth, supposedly have stronger filaments that can handle the door and the microwave constantly being slammed. But for the price of one of those bulbs, we have 8 of them. So if they only last every 4 months, math, these will last a while. So I'm gonna replace that light bulb. And yes, this is what I'm filming. Random stuff that I'm, like, random busy work, as it were, because staring at computers is, yeah, like I said, TBI stuff or traumatic brain injury, get strings of hot glue. Oh, that's right, I hot glued this desk drawer together. Thought it was spider webs at first. Yeah, because TBI stuff comes and goes, and sometimes it'll stick around for like a week or so. Whatever. But yes, random thingies. Also, random tech rant. I've been, hang on, let me adjust the exposure here. There we go. I've been super annoyed with the Google Chromecast recently because they don't work very well and they just kind of are terrible. So I dug this old computer out of my stash of stuff in the garage. I got this at a thrift store like 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure that's one of those things that I probably got when it was half price, but it's an old E-Machines. Anyway, stuck a bunch of RAM in there, got a better video card, and look, it has a record player built in. When's the last time you've seen one of those? But yeah, so video card, mini display port, HDMI adapter into the TV. This is the TV from the garage because the one that was in here is now stapled to the wall over there. And yes, I am the master of random busy work. But yeah, back to the Chromecast rant. So I'm throwing out all the Chromecasts because they're dumb. This thing's on the network, and I've been playing around with some software that allows you to do screencasting from your phone or YouTube app or whatever. And I'm trying a few different programs. We're using this Reflector 3 right now. But yeah, so that's my answer. Use an old computer that's lying around. Anyways, back to the light bulb. I think, let's see here, move this out of the way. I think I can reach this light bulb. Yep, smashing into things. By swiveling this TV out of the way. Carefuling. And yes, this is a VCR. It's a VCR DVD recorder combo. Something about analog technology. So now I can just lean over here and grab this here thingy. Ooh, it's dark now. And you're supposed to do this with the power on, right? I'm assuming since this is like a, wait, let me make sure. Yeah, they're E17 bases. That's why I can't just put normal light bulbs in here. assuming this is just like tungsten or whatever. So it should be a nice, soft quality of light. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Like I was saying before, the here, let me swivel our TV back into place. By the way, also half price from Goodwill. So half of $40 is $20. Yeah, so multiple functions here. Having a light behind the TV helps with the eyes, and also it illuminates the flag, but yeah. So there you go. There's one thing that took about 10 minutes of the day. Now we gotta find something else to do. I think I've got some more stuff being delivered from Amazon. Oh yeah, I have to replace some turn signal housings on the van. For some reason, they're coming in 2 different shipments from Amazon on the same day. I'll be back in a bit when more stuff gets delivered. Random side note, however, I'm not going to be making videos about getting the new chair. The Quantum Forefront's been gone now for probably almost a month, and I'm working with different providers now and working on getting things scheduled as far as like the seating clinic appointments and all that, but it will not be televised. I don't know what chair I'm getting at this point. I know I'm not able to get the one that I wanted, which is the V4 front or the V6 front wheel drive from Magic Mobility. Apparently they're stupid expensive and my insurance company just flat out will not cover them. They have never in their history paid for one of those chairs. So yeah, we'll see what's going on there. But I've already been to my doctor to get the process started again, and I've got an appointment in X amount of time from now at the seating clinic. So yeah, things are moving right along. I think in this case, the Rona is actually helping because everyone's staying at home and no one's going to doctor appointments, which frees up their schedule. So yeah, that's a thing. By the way, a quick life hack. It's a very obscure situation, but I can't remember. I think it was in an email. It might have been a YouTube comment. Yeah, I think it was an email actually. But I keep having issues with the delivery drivers not following the instructions and leaving stuff on top of the stairs at my door where I can't get to them. So I've come up with a solution. So we have our front walkway here. I made this little thing that sort of blocks everything, and it just has a sign that says, "Please leave deliveries here." And what's funny is so far it's been working awesome. And everyone that leaves deliveries, it's literally perfectly in line with that arrow. So, but like I was saying before, the problem I have is they would throw the stuff, well, the perspective on the camera doesn't really show, but between here and back there is about 8 feet, and the door swings out that way. So if they put it behind the door, I can't go out that door to get to it, but then also I can't reach it from the stairs. So yeah, this I think is a fairly elegant solution, and also keeps random people from coming up to my door. I only leave it out here though when I'm expecting deliveries. I just pick it up like this and stick it in the garage when it's not being used. But yeah, there you go. Apparently I left this outside for some reason. But yeah, the person I was chatting with suggested putting sawhorses up. I didn't have any of those, but I had some random lumber left over from building these ramps. So yeah, there you go, life hack. If you have a very obscure situation where you're trying to get the stuff delivered and it keeps getting put in a place that you can't get to it. There's other people I know that have the same problem, but they just use a rake to scrape things off of their doorstep. I suppose I could do that, but I was going to say I'm a lazy man, but the coefficient of ratios of energy used to build that thing versus using a rake 3 times a week. I don't know what's less or more energy. Whatever. Alright, a couple things have been delivered. Speaking of random though, I've been practicing my writing skills and I'm getting a little bit better at it without using the brace to hold the pens. But I wanted some smaller notepads. I got a bunch of these things from Goodwill. They came in like a 50 pack for $10 or something. They're a little large though. I was thinking something about half this size would probably be good. So I had a thought. Let's use the bandsaw to cut this down into a smaller notepad. I've got a whole bunch of these things. I was gonna try and chop them up into various sizes, but I think we're just gonna cut this one in half. Even though the lines are gonna go the wrong way, I think we should be all right. So let me plug this thing into power. We've got our cord reel on the ceiling, so it makes hooking this stuff up super quick and easy. And just so the blade doesn't get angry, I'm gonna cut this coil right here, right about in the middle. There we go. And in theory, you should be able to just run this thing through the saw. Oh, looks like we unraveled our spiral here a little bit. But yeah, there we go. Now we have a much smaller notebook. Granted, the lines are going the wrong way, but mostly I just use these for drawings and stuff. Actually, here, let's bend this back around so we don't have a sharp metal thing sticking out. And there we go. It's a notebook. These ones have sort of a plastic cover on the front, so it works pretty well with the saw. Also, since this blade is traveling down, I mean, it makes some weird marks on the side of the paper, but yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Years ago when I was in school, they didn't really have electronic versions of books, and it was a lot easier for me to scan everything into the computer and put it on a laptop. So what I would do is use a table saw at the time, and I would cut the bindings off of the textbooks, because normally you've got a 1/4 inch of glue and stuff. So I would clamp them between two pieces of wood, run them through the table saw, cut the bindings off, then I could run them through a sheet fed scanner and get everything electronically into the computer. But yeah, cuts fairly straight. Yeah, today's full of lots of random projects. Now, since we've got the other half of this thing here, oops. Since we got the other half of this thing here, I think what I might do is trim this one down into a much more pocket size. Then our lines are running the correct direction. We do have random holes punched in it, but yeah, I think that should be good. And there we go. Now we have an even smaller scaled down one of these with the binding on the left side. Fancy, right? Bet you never thought about doing that. It actually works surprisingly well. Question is now, what do we do with these? When I'm using the hot glue gun and mixing up epoxy and stuff like that, I usually put a piece of cardboard or paper or something like that down. So I'm going to keep this over on the workbench, and now I've got a stack of little square pieces of paper I can use to put underneath the epoxy, mixing like the wooden tongue depressor things, or into the glue gun or something like that. But yeah, there you go. It's gotten dark outside now. This box has the other turn signal lamp for the van. One of them actually got delivered earlier, and I went ahead and installed it. These are Dorman brand turn signal housing replacements. But I found with the other one, it wasn't necessarily the best quality thing. I had to do some trimming with a pair of scissors, and I had to file down some stuff on it. These are like $16 each though, so I can't complain too much. This one looks a little bit better maybe. Oh yeah, this one's better. So the other one, this screw hole here, when you tried to put the screw through there, it didn't line up properly, and this corner of the lens would interfere with getting the screw in there. And then also on the top here, they screwed up on this rubber seal. It stuck out way far. Actually, I might trim this one a little bit. And it stuck up way too high. So I had to trim the top of this and also trim this edge here. But this one actually seems to be pretty decent. Aren't these nice and shiny? Look at that. The color doesn't really come through on the camera, but this is like a brilliant orange. It's great. When I was installing the LED turn signals, one of the screws got stripped out and I couldn't get it out of the van. So I took out the bottom screw and just sort of like tilted this out so I could get to the bulb here and replaced it. But then I broke these pins. Yeah. And the one on the other side of the van that I already replaced, after I got the LEDs in there, I noticed that the driver's side one, which is the other one, wasn't nearly as bright as this one. And I noticed there was a very small hole right here in the corner of it. And when I took it off, a bunch of water came out. So I think what happened was a bunch of water got in here. Someone drilled a drain hole instead of replacing the thing. And the inner reflective surface in here got all messed up. And the metallized coating that's in there, you can see the reflective stuff, got worn off. So when the light turned on, it wasn't reflecting nearly as bright. So the other side, the reflective material is messed up. This side, these little alignment dowels are screwed up. So when you screw it in there, so when you screw the thing into the van, it would just kind of wobble left and right like this. So I figured for $16 each, I might as well replace them. Some of the other ones, like there were cheaper ones, and they didn't actually have rubber on the edges. They were plastic. So it looks like the glue's kind of coming off on this one. I think it should hold in there okay though. All right, I'm gonna get a coat on, and then we can go out there and swap this out. I know it's dark outside, but I think there should be enough light coming out from the garage and the floodlights outside to see what's going on. Also, random side note, you may see this thing around my neck. I got a little pocket radio.
Some states have no idea what they're getting. Some states are asking.
And it's a little AM/FM radio that you can put rechargeable batteries in. I've been listening to the radio a lot more recently. With the TBI stuff, staring at computer screens, I don't know, it's not the best. So I've been using this for entertainment. And it comes with a little neck lanyard, so I can be like one of those people that runs around, you know, at the horse racing tracks or sports bookies or something like that with one earpiece in, listening to the radio. But this one is a speaker, which is kind of neat.
Go and move forward. Some states are holding stuff back because they're like, oh, we don't know what we're going to be getting from the Fed.
This time of night, though, there's only strange things on talk radio. So the screws on these tend to get stripped out over time. You can see right there in the middle where it's a little bit more shiny. But what I've found is you can just swap the top screw for the bottom screw, and then it changes the engagement point on the mount in there, and then you don't have to replace the screws. In theory, we shouldn't need to be replacing these too often. Oh yeah, there you can really see on this one. See how this is like all stripped out here? So I'll just keep those separate. And there you can see I snapped off that alignment pin on accident. But luckily our new one has the two pins here. By the way, these LED bulbs are awesome. They have two rings of lights on the bottom and then sort of a projector lens here on the top. These things put out like 2,500 lumens each. So yeah, this one fits on here pretty good. I'm going to trim the rubber just a tiny bit though. There we go. Oh wait, actually, nope. Now that I'm looking at it, there's a little bit of a gap right here. And even with this pushed all the way in, that gap is still there. So I'm going to have to get out the file and fix that a little bit. Luckily, it's pretty easy to fix. If you look real close right here, you can see that the screw hole, the way they extruded that, is a little bit melted and weird. And we need to trim it off maybe 1/8 of an inch or so. So let's use the triangular file here for that. There we go, that should be good. Yeah, there we go. It's one of those OCD things that drives me insane. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. I don't think shaving off any more of that's going to make a difference, because our fitment here now, this headlight is sticking out further than this is. On the other side, the light's sticking out further than the headlight is. So I think it's just kind of what happens when you get $16 parts. But yeah, let's turn them on real quick. Actually, I just realized the way the van's parked, I can't get over to the driver's door. And I have to fire it up, move it over, and then get back out and do it. So I'll just show you this tomorrow in the daylight. They're super bright during the day too, because I need to go somewhere tomorrow. So anyways, good for now. I will, however, be saving these housings because you never know when something breaks or you need a backup part or something like that. So I'm going to keep both of those and throw them on a shelf for now. Typically, I'm a really big proponent of throwing away any used automotive parts like spark plugs, wires, anything like that. Well, maybe not spark plug wires. I'll keep one or two of those in case I need to do some sort of high voltage project. But yeah, normally I just throw everything right in the trash. But turn signals, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should just throw them away. Whatever. And it's the next day, magically. So I drove somewhere in the morning. Try that again. I drove somewhere and I parked the van so that I can get over and show you guys the lights now. So this thing had just regular halogen lights all the way around. And this being the, well, sort of passenger van variant. In 2002, they had several options for headlights. You could get these great big plastic reflectors, or you could get the little, what are those called? The square headlights. The modular sealed beam ones. Those actually work better for converting to LED and HID and stuff like that because the housing doesn't have as much light scatter. But I found some bulbs for these that the filament or the LED cobs are placed in just the right spot so that it mimics the old tungsten bulb that was in there. Anyways, so we got some sweet LEDs in here now. They're about 4,500 lumens each, I think, somewhere around there. And then our turn signals are approximately, I think they were like 2,800 lumens or something. But anyways, let me turn these lights on and I'll show you. By the way, I'm the master of like starting projects and then not like completing them. So I still haven't put the bottom part of the dashboard back on this van. It's perfectly functional the way it is, but I tend to not spend my time doing cosmetic things when it comes to jobs like this. But the way this bar is for the hand controls and everything else, I would have to get another plastic piece from the junkyard and do a bunch of custom cutting to it. I need to go to the wrecking yard anyways because I have to get some more seat belts and stuff for this van. So we might work on that eventually. But anyways, lights. So here's just the turn signals. As you can see, the new reflectors in there make them pretty bright. And those are just the running lights. I'll turn on the turn signals here in a second and you'll be able to see. But yeah, in broad daylight, those are pretty noticeable. Let me hit the flashers. Are you ready to be blinded? See how the turn signals are illuminating the garage? Yeah, so they're very directional and also very bright. If I come over here, so we're in line with the other side, you can see they're definitely a lot noticeable, or more noticeable than the tungsten stock ones. Now let's turn on the headlights. So these LED headlights, I think they're 4,500, 4,800 lumens, somewhere in there. It took a lot of work to get them set up in these housings. They do have an adjustment screw so you can kind of rotate the bulb to get everything set up just right. But with these housings, actually I've got a couple of photos. So if you take a look, you can see how the light is like going straight up in the air and all over the place. So it took a lot of adjustment to get these things so that they're not blinding everyone as you're going down the road and the light's not just scattering everywhere. But yeah, check this out. Those are so much nicer than the tungsten or halogen or whatever those ones were that are in there. And as soon as you get up out of the range that they're in, there's no light scatter. But if you notice the top edge here, if I lower the camera down, you can see things get very, very bright. But the nice thing is with these headlights combined with those turn signals is you can actually see them. Because a lot of times when you have really bright headlights and you don't upgrade your turn signals, you can't see them flashing. But as illustrated here, you can see the turn signals just fine over the headlights. By the way, this van uses the 9007 headlights and the 3157, I believe, turn signals. They're the dual filament versions. Same thing on the back. They have those little blade connectors. Actually, they have a blade style connector like this. Now, these are some taillights that I tried previously. These are, I think, Sylvania LED conversions. These things are terrible. They were so dim you could hardly see them. I wound up changing the taillight bulbs as well to something much, much brighter. But, yeah. So, there you go. And of course, with any sort of LED conversion like this, you have to upgrade your flasher module, because this van's old enough that it still had the thermoelectric or bimetallic current or heat-based flasher module. So the second there isn't any current load or current draw, they just blink at a super high rate of speed. So for like 12 bucks, you can get an electronic flasher, cram it in there, and you're good to go. But yeah, with the old halogen headlights, I found myself driving down the road a lot of times, and I couldn't even tell if the headlights were on. So yeah. There you go. It was, I think, $23 for a pair of headlights and maybe 17 bucks for the turn signals. So they're getting a lot cheaper now. We'll see how long they last. They're just kind of some random brand from Amazon. But if I get 6 months out of them for that price, I'll be happy. Oh, they do have cooling fans and stuff on them as well. I can't really show you that because I have to remove the headlights to do it. There's no ballast or anything, but basically, you've just got the bulb, and then there's a thing about this big that has the heatsink and the fan that comes off the back of it, and then the wire comes out the side. So it takes a little bit of screwing around to get them installed, but yeah, very much worth it, IMO. And while we're going down the list of projects that need to be done, I've got the $85 MacBook here, and I've got this clear case on it, which, I don't know, even though it's a cheap laptop, I'm scared to death of dropping it. And the thing is so thin that at least having some sort of case on it is good. But it has these little rubber feet on the back. And you can see here, this one is not lined up. That one's not lined up. There's something with this silicone material, whatever it is they're using for the anti-skid feet and the glue. What happens is, if you set this thing on a surface that's at any sort of angle, these pads, under the weight of it just sitting there, will slowly slide. There's some sort of weird slug-like capillary glue action or something going on, and I'm tired of those things sliding around. So, we're gonna fix them. And I'm sure you can guess how we're gonna do it. Ah. That's right, hot glue. So we're gonna set this thing upside down, we're gonna peel these off, and then there's sort of a little, like, lip around where these go, and we're just gonna fill that up with a layer of hot glue. I'm gonna let the gun get super warm so that the glue flows nice and easily, and then we're just gonna make a little puddle of hot glue on each one of these. And I think that should make an excellent anti-skid surface. All right, here's our little squares of paper that we prepared earlier, so I can set the glue gun over the top of that, and we're gonna let this thing heat up for a bit, get nice and hot, and then we're gonna just basically smear some of it on here. By the way, I think one of the reasons that this laptop was so cheap is someone was testing their laser engraver on it. You can see there's this crazy pattern here and some company logo. And then right here, these, it doesn't show on camera, but each of these are at different densities. And I think they were testing their laser engraver to see what works the best on there. And then there's like a logo on the front of it. But yeah, things that have been engraved or customized for whatever reason aren't worth as much. So I just picked this thing up at the recycler. It's only got 2 gigs of RAM and like 64 gigs of storage, but somehow it works. Yeah. Actually, let me grab a couple more glue sticks. We're getting low on our stock here. I've only got like maybe 10 of these things left. Which, by the way, if you want proper black hot glue sticks, these are the ones to order on Amazon. There's a few different versions of these, and not all of them are created equal, but these ones are the best. Actually, let's prop up the front of this so it's a little bit more level. There we go, multi-purpose glue sticks. Nope, I don't think I let it heat up enough. Nope. I got in a hurry. Kind of forming it with the end of the glue gun here. There we go. That might actually be too much. Yeah, I didn't let it get hot enough. I'm gonna let that congeal, then we'll pop it off of there and do it again. All right, I think this thing has heated up enough now. So let's get you a nice close-up here of this hot glue action. Okay, it got pretty hot, which means it's sort of bubbling. I'm just gonna sort of turn this back and forth to get it spread around the edges there. For whatever reason, I was assuming that the hot glue would just flow down perfectly and be fine, but I guess that's not the case. Anyways, I'm gonna screw around with this a little more and then I'll be back. After attempting this 3 or 4 more times, I think we have success. So we've got some nice little puddles here on each side where those feet used to be. I'm not 100% sure if they're all level, but yeah, I think we should be good. I'm gonna let this solidify the rest of the way, and yeah, there's one more thing that took about 45 minutes to check off the list. We're almost through the day. Okay, let's try this thing out. We've got some glue on there now, and actually it doesn't seem to be very non-skid, but I've got this lap desk here, so let's see what this, oh. Hang on. All right, well, it's definitely not anti-skid. I think what I might need to do is get some of those little feet that, well, some feet that aren't made with whatever this glue is here. Probably gonna buy some more stuff on Amazon. Anyways, it was a nice thought, but yeah, black hot glue, pretty slippery when it's on the bottom of a laptop. Anyhow, I think that's about as much as I can string together for one random video. Speaking of which, word of the day. Yeah, I'll catch you guys in a few days. Oh, also, I'm working on another member video. No idea what that's gonna be, but I'm gonna give myself a maximum of 2 days to get that up. So anyways, catch you guys later.